Hello, I'm Ellen Archer, a mind body intuitive. I do readings that are a bit different. I get metaphors or allegories or images that tell stories. I think of how for millions of years we sat around the fire each night and learned about our lives through storytelling. A big part of being a mind body coach is helping myself and other people to regulate their nervous system. And for me, reading or being read to, my mom used to read to me. Reading and writing good movies or shows, or just sitting around and telling each other the stories of our lives is very reassuring and regulating for our nervous system. Stories help us make sense of things, which helps our nervous system know we're invested in ourselves and each other, and it doesn't have to take over quite as often. Right now, I'm going to do a healing/reading on the future of fake news in the US. Okay, here goes. I see an alien with a black mask on, with the finger to its mouth. Like, not in a be quiet way, but like I'm thinking way. Now I see a kitten coming out of, like, the top of a shirt by the collar. How I'd put a kitten inside the top of my shirt to keep it warm. Now the picture is zooming out, pulling out, and it looks like a scary creature, and the kitten is peeking its head out of the collar of this monster. I think propaganda always puts on the innocent face of the kitten, but when we see the bigger picture, there's more nefarious characters involved. I see great big eyes, like a critter with big eyes, and one is squinting. Looks like a great big, really large hippopotamus with the dress on, and over the clothes there's a blanket wrapped around its head. If it's trying to hide that it's a hippopotamus, it's not doing a very good job behind the clothes or the blanket, and the blanket is falling off. So maybe fake news isn't going to be able to cover itself like it used to. And now I see a person in a spacesuit and the visor with a reflective surface that has lots of colors. Oh, what are those sunglasses called? Mirrored but colorful. Are they polarized glasses? Oh, that's funny that the word polarized would come up because propaganda believed by enough people is very polarizing, as most of us in the US have experienced, often within our own families. The visor is opens up, and there's a person inside, not a face. The suit evidently isn't a full size person that would fit inside the suit. The person is sitting cross legged behind the visor on a laptop, just typing away. So that makes sense. The writers producing the content behind the polarized or polarizing visor actually churning out that fiction, that division behind the scenes, behind the one way mirror. I'm seeing a cartoon character with great big droopy cheeks, and it's pushing its cheeks up with its fists, but the cheeks look very odd, and if it's trying to look like it's smiling, it's not really smiling for sure. Now I see Wile E. Coyote. I see somebody scooting back, a woman on a rock ledge scooting backwards into a cave, and there's a raccoon with her. I wrote a book with a cave woman as a character, and I can relate to wanting to scoot inside a cave while all this intense division is happening. And raccoons look like they're wearing a disguise. I think we can hide or we can transform maybe while we're in this liminal phase of debating deception. We can transform into something less divisive and move like Wile E. Coyote through the right wing. What do they call the lies? Disinformation? Maybe moving through that at a quicker speed. Also, raccoons can represent artists, maybe creating our way beyond this dip into fascism. There's a long tradition of art during dictatorships by resistance movements, encouraging that creativity is useful for cutting through the lies. Maybe we don't have to make the purveyors of lies go away as much as we make our creative solutions bigger or more numerous. There's someone sitting on a ledge, a rock ledge, again, surrounded by rocks, and they're all wrapped up in a blanket from head to toe. Another figure, another cartoon character like from that Disney Hawaiian movie. Lilo and Stitch, Lilo and Stitch. I see Stitch with his mouth wide open, and it's taking some hits on the side of the head and getting some dark stuff thrown at the side of the head. I've never seen so many cartoon characters like today. Maybe that's how the right wing spin people see themselves as cartoon characters or creating cartoon characters. Or maybe that's how we should view them. I think this is similar but different from the last set of images. Not enough just to do our own thing. We might need to speak up. We might need to take some hits, but we can't just bundle up in a blanket. we need to recover, whatever that means for you. I heard the word healthier. So it's healthier to speak up after a bit of recovery than to just try and hide. I'm seeing a spacesuit again and a lot of energy coming at me, waves of energy. This is the part that always feels so good. And a really odd looking little critter, it's holding something. It's a box with music notes coming out of it. The critter's looking back at me like it's running away with. I think it's my voice or our voice, our collective voices. I see a creature with a cape around like at the hair salon and it's getting its head massaged. I see a monster with a great big spider legs, its tongue sticking out that I'm getting the beast from Beauty and the Beast. Let me pause here for a minute because the Beauty and the Beast reference, let me explain. My husband makes fun of me for watching Beauty and the Beast because he thinks it's sexist, and it's surprising to him that I like it, but to me the beast is what we've done to emotions. We've cursed our emotions and shuttered them away and been left without the skills to understand what emotions mean and how to use them, which leaves us vulnerable to propaganda, which is essentially emotional manipulation, and we can have our voices taken away. And now a dog looking really angry, a cartoon dog character, and then it's looking up at me and it's transforming into a man. There's a couple of what are those called that live in the desert and pop their heads up? Prairie dogs. There are some prairie dogs inside a cave and a rat and a coyote. Kind of looks like the type of drawings from Wind in the Willows. They're all kind of sitting around looking at papers and trying to figure out something and putting their hands on the paper, then standing up, thinking, pacing, and now there's a bear with the group. Of course, prairie dogs are all about community, and rats are ingenious, and coyotes can be tricksters, but are very wise as well. To me, this group is working to outsmart the misinformation, the corporations, the money behind it. So they need to make plans inside the cave away from prying eyes. They're working on it, but also we might not hear about it unless we're personally involved. The bear can mean grow, so I would say the movement is growing. I see a bee on the nose of a cat. The bee lands on the cat's nose, and the bee is getting bigger and bigger. But the cat licks it off, its nose, its face, and swallows the bee. Whoa, now the cat gets bigger and bigger. Looks like that typical drawing of the rich fat cat. I'm getting chills on the back of my head. With the last group of animals in the cave, I can understand why they're working in the cave. If they agitate the rich cat right in its face, they'll get swallowed. Bee can be about fertility, so if we grow too fast, we might get eaten. I see an eagle catching a fish and now it's eating it on a rock ledge. Lots of rock ledges today. And seeing the fish, and now I'm zooming out on the scene again. Rock ledges and cliffs. I see the cave opening where the organizers or activists are working inside. And there's animals coming out of holes in the side of the cliff. Like they feel safe to come out now. I think those of us who have been avoiding getting out, not wanting confrontations with the fake news folks, are maybe feeling like we can come out again. I'm seeing an old woman and another person, maybe an older gentleman in a cave, and they're kind of scooting back further and further into the cave, really in a tight squeeze, building a fire in a pit. And now there are bears holding them, and they've got hoods on and they're hugging each other, talking and gesticulating, and I think devising plans. They're talking, they're thinking, they're under a tarp. Once again, maybe long term plans, but maybe from an older, wiser perspective. Happenings are taking place, it's just hidden from view to protect our progress, which could be represented by the bear, and waking up from a long winter's nap into a new and renewed future. And it's looking like where we'll have the long term support and plans to deflect fake news. And I want to ask if the fake news will influence the fall midterms. I see a person sitting in a wooden chair and they have an apparatus coming down over their head. Looks like a colander, like a kitchen colander, but with wires attached to it, like a cheesy sci-fi movie. And it's coming over the top of their head. It's upside down, so it's kind of fitting like a hat, but now it's tilting and the colander is falling off. Oh, nice. So, no, I wouldn't say the fake news will sway the midterms. They may try to brainwash people again, but it will fall off. It won't work. That seems to be it for today. Thanks to our sponsor, Lazy Bones Writing Magic. Details below. And thank you for listening. Until next time.